Hey, okay, I think we're live now. Hey guys, sorry we're late. Having the always technical difficulties. Fun. No calling tonight, guys. Just a heads up. Phone lines are not working tonight, so no phone lines tonight. But Chad, Jesse, you ready?
Ready?
Jesse,
Okay,
like
now I'm ready.
you sure you're okay?
I had to get one last yawn out. Yep, I'm good to go.
And she's about to. Jordan is about to show up. She is a lady. Yes, she is. Jesse's a lady. All right, here we go. Let's go live on this, and let's make sure I got this set. Hold on, sorry, 1 second, guys. I was too busy doing something else. I didn't get my stuff set. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
You wanna know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday at 3:30. It is once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name is Scott Burks. We have our co-host Jordan. It's in the next room.
Hello.
Hi. And please welcome to my virtual left, my other co-host, Jazz 427.
Howdy, y'all. It's review time.
That's right, guys. Tonight's episode 752, recorded live on January 25th, 2023, is the reviewer chat discussion with Reviewer Smith. Phone lines are open to give us a call. No, I'm sorry. That's wrong. The phone lines are not open tonight. Do not call us tonight. Phone lines are having issues, so do not call us. So it's just a listening show tonight. So you can just enjoy the show. But before we get into the show, Chad, we need to talk about Patreon.
That's right. Got to pay those bills.
Guys, costs a lot of money work to show work. You know it. I know it. We all know it. There's 2 ways you can help us out. You go to paypal.me. That's PAYPAL.me /the Geocaching Podcast. You make a one-time donation, or, guys, you join Patreon. Guys, extra video, extra audio, extra video, only available to our Patreon members. We got stickers, coins, path tags, all this good stuff. And I do have, Chad, I can talk to you about it offline. I do have a coin idea.
Ooh.
Another coin. Jesse knows it. We talked about it briefly.
Yep.
A coin idea could be pretty cool. Gonna have
Sounds cool.
to give our buddy a call.
All right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. I definitely know who you're talking about.
Almost coin time again. It's almost patron coin time again. So yeah. So guys, but stickers and pad tags and pins and all that. Because patron only shows, patron only giveaway shows. Can't go wrong with that. So all this good stuff you can do, guys. You go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com /the Geocaching Podcast.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Sorry, guys.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more info at Cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
Tonight, we're also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic logbook. They were genuine write in the written paper. The logbook designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who would rather go cache than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, hints and tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tales, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Max Suds Body Company. Max Suds Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Begun Soap, Itch Spray, and 2 scent choices of Bug Spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Max Suds Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxsudsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL, geocaching.com.
And by Arted Crafted. Arted Crafted creates unique geocaching themed tees and custom designs for you or your geocaching group. With adult sizes ranging from small to 5XL, if you have an idea for a shirt design and cannot find it, you've come to the right place. Please give us the opportunity to show you how we can enhance your caching experience with your own custom design. Visit them at artedcrafted.com. That's crafted.com.
And by pathtags.com. For all your swag and pathtag needs, visit our website to get creative help to trade or log tags or to purchase your own personalized pathtags. With over 47,000 tags to collect, pathtags.com is everything you need to start your pathtag obsession. Visit them at pathtags.com. That's PATHTAGS.com.
And by Geocaching Adventures LLC. Geocaching Adventures is a full-service travel agency specializing in creating the ultimate worldwide geocaching adventure for cachers and non-cachers alike. What could be better than having your geocaching bucket list vacation all planned and led by a traveling expert? Learn more by visiting us at geocachingadventuresllc.com. That's geocachingadventuresllc.com.
And finally, by GeoGo. Go caching with GeoGo, the geocaching app for Android that includes a Where I Go player, trackable scanner, companion watch app, and county finds database. If you're an advanced geocacher, GeoGo helps with powerful features like nearby cache notifications, optimized routes, offline mode, bulk TB logging, and much more. Learn more by visiting us at geogo.com. That's GEOOH-go.com.
As always, you can find links to our sponsors on our website or, Chad,
or in our show notes.
in our show notes. What's up, buddy? How you doing, Chad?
I'm surviving.
Yeah, how you doing, Jess?
I'm surviving.
Chad wasn't done. Go ahead, Chad. Keep going.
No, just taking it one day at a time.
One day at a time.
Oh, you and me both. That's all we can do.
Take it. Yeah. How you doing, Jess?
Taking it one day at a time.
One day.
And many days, 1 hour at a time.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Good. Glad you guys are well. Tonight, guys, we got reviewer Smith on the show. I'm gonna bring him in a second. He is the Illinois reviewer. He's Jesse and I's reviewer. He's been our reviewer for many years. We're gonna bring him on the show. He was on a couple of years ago. He was on. We were talking right before COVID, like the January of 2020. He was on. How about that? Right before the crap hit the fan. Right before it all went. So before we do, Chad, but before we get to him, we got to get into the business.
I got mail.
Yay.
Yay! I got mail.
LNN Railroad, Chad says, remember the show Playing Your Own Way? Remember that? Good one.
Oh yeah.
Jesse, was that the one Jesse was not here?
I was not at that one.
So Playing Your Own Way brought up the topic of people who don't play your way or the way most people play. I wish geocaching would add the ability to block profiles, or maybe it's always there and I haven't seen it. Oh, can you block a profile in geocaching?
You can ignore specific caches. But I've never seen a way to block entire profiles. I would agree with that. That would be a great feature.
To not be able to see a cacher.
Oh, I would love that.
It's like don't see it when they log a cache. If you're looking at the cache notes,
maybe we'll have to ask reviewer Smith. Maybe he'll know if that's in the pipeline.
But if they do that, it would have to go both ways. It'd have to be like on social media when you block a profile. You don't see them, they don't see you.
Yes.
That way they can't leave snarky logs on your caches, and you can ignore their caches.
So you don't even want them to see your caches, period. Like you want they don't even exist, is what
like you don't exist to each other.
Like
that would be nice.
Even exist. Wow, that's some serious hatred right there.
No, it's not hatred. Just avoiding annoyance and frustration. That's all. Just like in every other aspect of your life.
Right. Yes.
You no longer exist.
You no longer exist to me. You're dead to me. Okay. The topic of community maintenance came up. This is Cody Dogs. The topic of community maintenance. How strictly should the prohibition be followed? Right? Prohibition. Yeah, that's what it is. How strictly should the prohibition be followed? I try to keep waterproof log sheets so that I can add one to a cache that's soggy mush. Am I violating the letter or the spirit of the rules? When I log a cache now, I generally leave a comment about the cache's condition, and not just when there is something wrong, but also when it's in good shape. Is that going too far because it could mean the owner can postpone making a visit to check on their cache? I personally don't see doing something to help the cache owner that is done with the owner's knowledge as violating the spirit of the rule. Chad?
I don't have a problem with it, and I think more power to you if you're gonna put a right in the rain log sheet inside one that is constantly getting soggy. So I mean, yeah, the reality is there are cache owners that don't maintain their caches.
Yeah, look at Ian, for example. There you go. There's one. Yeah. Yeah. So like, so should you? Is it okay? No, but I think he's saying I do it. Is that okay?
I think it's okay. I
I
think I think it's admirable.
By all means, yeah. If my log is mush and you want to replace it, God bless, replace it. Just maybe shoot me an email or shoot me, put it in your log that says I replaced your log. Yeah.
Right.
God bless. Yeah. Saves me a trip. Oh no, somebody says HQ used to include that as part of being a good geocacher. Is doing that. So technically, I guess it's not. There you go. I don't know. All right, there you go, LNN. Thank you for that quick trip down memory lane there. Chad tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We're bringing in an old friend of the show. He's been on before. He was on in 2020. We're bringing in Reviewer Smith. Hey, RS, hello.
Good evening. How you guys doing?
There he is. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Doing all right. Hard to believe it's been 3 years already
Since COVID, or since you've been on our show?
since I've been on the show.
Has it been 3? I thought 2. Has it been 3?
3.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
2020.
The last 3 years are like all
It's a
blurred
blur.
together.
Well, and with your phone lines being down, I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse, because I'm sure your listeners have other means to contact you and
Yes.
Get their questions across. So
Yes, it's in
it'll
the
be
chat.
fine.
There's some in the chat room as well. So don't worry about that. Yeah.
Excellent.
So first off, how are you? How you doing?
Doing well. So really no complaints. It's business as usual.
Okay.
Now that the some of the big events are done, my evening workload has somewhat drastically been reduced from the 30 a night down to about 10, which is okay.
That's good.
So, yeah. Because I think there was, 140 some caches that
Yeah,
went
the blustery
live.
burbs. Yeah, a couple.
Yeah, for the bird.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sure you had your work cut out for you for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But, most of those caches were put out by seasoned cachers. So those go usually fairly quickly unless there's a hidden stage or, what we run into is that, you cachers have the same idea for hides. So it's who gets to the spot first claims, claims the rights to that location. So
Right.
we had a lot of those. Sorry, already someone that's claimed this location. Try again.
Right.
So, and they're like, "Well, who is it?" Like, I ain't telling you who it is. It's like you could go figure it out on social media or whatever. I said, but you would want the same.
Of course.
Courtesy.
Respect. Yeah, courtesy.
Right.
Thank you. If you had first rights. So.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. So really quick, somebody's asking in the chat room right now. Are you the whole state of Illinois?
I am the entire state of Illinois and have been
That's a big state. Man.
since. I actually took over Chicago, I think, in 2017, and then I took over the we'll call them the sweeping or the reaping duties in 2019. So, in essence, I've been having the whole state since 2019 for all duties.
Because we had Ed. You weren't Ed Rooney, right? Were you Ed? Were you Ed?
Not liberty to discuss.
Okay, fair enough.
That's one of those questions that. Sorry.
Now we had Ed Rooney, and we had somebody else for a while too. We had 2. Didn't we have 2 for a while?
Yeah. Chicago's usually had 2, but as noted, I think a couple years ago, the cache submittal and publication has gone down over the last several years. Now that I should say it's plateaued or been fairly consistent the last several years. Just quick stats, and I know that one of your topics is COVID later on, which we can cover that. But on average, I publish around 2,500 caches a year for Illinois. So
I don't know if that's a lot or a little.
most of them are in Chicagoland area, north of I-80. Yeah.
Really?
So it just depends on the area. It really does. So I think they say the average reviewer maybe publishes somewhere around 15 to 2,000 a year on average. But then you got some reviewers that are doing 4,000 and 5,000 a year too. So
Right.
I'm sure Texas is doing a ton of that.
I've not looked at the stats for Texas for a while, but yeah, it's some of those guys are just, they're 30, 40, 50 in the hopper every night. It's like, wow.
Right. And I remember when I was down there, Prime Reviewer was the only reviewer for years. And I know all the major metropolises had somewhere between 15 to 25,000 caches within a 60-mile radius of the downtown. You know, you got Houston, the Dallas Fort Worth area, San Antonio, and Austin, all with those numbers. So you can imagine how many had to have come through the reviewer over the years.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, one thing I want to get to really quickly so I can get out of the way. Last week we had a show about challenge caches. Okay. A lot of them were old ones. I know this is a moratorium. I know you love to deny me mine. So God bless your heart. My challenge
Yep.
caches. I know you love.
There's a list of denies.
You love to say no to me. So I have like 6 of the ones we talked about last week. I just want you to say really quickly. Obviously, you can't do any research. Top of your head, what you think as a reviewer, your professional opinion. I'm going to say professional opinion of this. Okay. Now, all these are, I think, pre-moratorium. Okay. So the
Probably
DNF challenge, log 100 DNF fines.
not acceptable.
Not acceptable. Spice of Life. To qualify for this cache, you must log 45 different caches from 45 different cache placers over 45 consecutive days. Included with those 45 caches must be 8 different cache icons.
Cache placers.
45 different caches from 45 different placers.
That one is a bit complicated. I would have to research that one. Should I just say no now?
And 45 consecutive days.
45 consecutive days must be 8 different icons.
But there's,
that
but
would
there's no
probably
limit.
fall under time limited, I would guess. I would think.
Yeah, that's what I would.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 45 days consecutive.
Yep.
Days. Okay, zipping up Chicago. Find one cache in each Chicago city proper zip code.
It's not an approved defined area, region, county,
So is that
state.
a no?
That's a no.
Okay. 100 stars in a day. Cache find stars add up to 100. So like your DT stars. Sorry.
Difficulty terrain. That one would probably require some work.
Some work.
Some maybe. Well, the reason I say that is because I recently had a challenge come through for DT terrain. A challenge, and my initial thought was no, just because it was specific to the DT ratings. This type of challenge specifically would require more of a specific list of caches because there's just not that many out there. Well, and we talked about this a couple years ago, is that especially with challenge caches, I'll post it to my peers.
Sure.
Ask 10 reviewers, I'm going to get 20 answers.
Right.
Anyway, they said, yeah, this is good. This is actually pretty good challenge. Okay,
Really?
I guess I read way more into it, which is why I put them out there to my fellow team members to say, am I over analyzing this or am I not analyzing it enough? So that type of challenge would be a maybe.
Okay.
So this is easily doable in a checker, and that is basically you get, if you do 50 caches, you bare minimum you've qualified.
Yeah.
So
50 bare minimum. Yeah.
In a day. So it's not like it's a hard stretch. I don't know.
Sure.
All right. Geomobile challenge. Discover 30 geomobiles.
Oh boy.
That's so old. I can't imagine that would go.
Yeah, I don't.
I know you deny that. You would totally deny that. I'd look at my wife and I go, he's never gonna let that go through.
Yeah, probably not. But that's a great concept, though.
One more. The distance challenge. Log 2 caches the same day, 1,000 miles apart.
A minimum of 1,000 miles.
No, because that falls under logging more than 1 cache a day, I believe. So, because in essence, you're having to log 2 caches in a day, correct?
Two caches.
Yeah. That's against the revised guidelines.
God, so
four
of them were no's out of those 6.
Yeah.
4 were hard no's.
Well, and like we talked about 3 years ago, I said, we went through the moratorium and so forth and came out with, some different and revised guidelines. But, even today, I'll give you guys credit, just like I did 3 years ago. I mean, the stuff you guys come up with for challenges, like, wow, it's just head scratchers. And some of the challenges I see in our forum group, it's like, oh, where are people coming up with these things? It's really amazing. I mean, we've got a specific forum group just for challenge caches. That's
Really?
how
Wow.
prevalent they are. Yeah.
Wow.
And like I said, that's one of the unknown or the unseen aspects of what we do, is that we're constantly bouncing ideas off each other, or constantly, asking each other our opinions on, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? So,
Mhm.
which a lot of people, again, don't realize is happening behind the scenes.
Okay. One of our listeners brought a question up and said,
Sure.
does being a reviewer have its conflicts while also being an active cacher? I'm assuming you're an active cacher.
Not as active as I used to be. And again, brought this up a couple years ago. When you become a reviewer, your caching as a player goes down. It's just a natural occurrence, because you're spending more of that time when you could be caching. Maybe sometimes you're reviewing caches. So in essence, for me, and I can't speak to other reviewers because some of them get out a lot more than I do. But for me, the art, we'll call it an art, or the process of reviewing caches kind of took the place of finding caches. It replaced that thrill of the hunt per se.
Mhm.
And so for me, yeah, my cache numbers went way down. But now it's to the point where, if I go out and I find one cache, I'm okay. If I go out and I find 20 caches in a day, I'm just as okay.
Mhm.
So for me, it's just, and I've been slowly trying to get out more lately, with the nice seasonal weather we've had here. Of course,
Mhm.
I'm in Central Illinois. So,
Mhm.
there's probably over 100 caches I hadn't found in my hometown.
Really?
So each weekend I've been going out and picking off about 20 of them,
Mhm.
just knocking them out. Now then, I think the question was more of a conflict, like, so for example, if I'm out, perfect example, a couple weeks ago, I was out looking for a cache, couldn't find it, check the logs. Oh, a couple other people haven't found it. So then, I'll go back in and no one had posted a needs maintenance log on that cache yet. So, as a player, responsible player, I go in and I will hit that needs maintenance log on there, because obviously, the location was at. I mean, there's just no way I could have missed it. Now, granted, we all miss caches. Some easy caches, some hard caches. So, I look at kind of the history of the cache, and then I'll determine as a player what do I want to do with it. So, as far as conflicts, no, not really. I mean, I guess for me, the separation is fairly easy. Now then, if I see something, or if someone approaches me, say a property owner or a business owner, that, hey, we're the new owners, we really don't want this cache here, then I can go back as a reviewer and zap that cache right away.
Right, of course.
So
Yes.
yeah. So, but no, I don't really. For me, there's really not a conflict. I mean, there's a time to wear the hat, and there's a time not to wear the hat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And one more question here from somebody in the chat. What is the minimum number of local cachers that have to qualify for a challenge to make it publishable? Is that a question that can be answered?
Oh yeah, 10.
10.
Usually we require 10.
Okay.
So that's just it's kind of a, I don't know if you call it a standard number, but that's just been kind of, kind of the, I wouldn't say golden rule, but it's just kind of what we asked for 10.
Interesting.
So yeah. And a lot of times, like when I'm reviewing challenge caches, I'll go into the checker and then I'll use my player account to see if, do I qualify or not? It's like, oh, holy smokes, I qualify. Cool. Now, have I gone and found those challenge caches? Absolutely not, because, as we talked before, sure, I know where all the hidden stages are and this and that and everything, but you've got to remember, I'm doing anywhere between 10 and 30 caches a night.
Sure.
When I don't remember where those hidden coordinates are. And my brain don't work puzzles. So,
well, that was the next question. Is like, you got all the puzzles solved.
Yeah.
You got every kind of
No. I don't have them solved. I know where they're at.
The final
For about that 20 seconds worth of review time that I give that particular cache listing. After that, poof, it's gone. My brain's filled up with the next cache.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've always wondered. In more recent years, it seems like I've had more questions about how is this puzzle solved.
Yes.
And I think it's, it's not the reviewer wanting to know, but wanting to verify that there is a solvable solution.
Right.
Can you verify that?
Yeah, there's actually a guideline for that.
Okay.
That when you submit a challenge cache or a puzzle, you have to put in the reviewer note how this is solved.
Okay.
So, yep.
Interesting. Okay, so to follow up on that question, another question, the same listener. How does he or she prefer caches submit? I'm sorry. How do you prefer cachers submit power trails in series? I know I'm sure it can be overwhelming depending on the workload. So, is there a way you prefer that people? I mean, I maybe that's reviewers in general, or maybe it's you specific. I don't know. What is courtesy for you? Maybe.
We'll utilize Illinois as an example.
Okay.
Utilize what I would prefer. If you're going to drop 50 or 100 caches, on my lap, a courtesy email is definitely appreciated and, almost required per se.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we will do is that I will have that cacher submit a group of, say, maybe 10 or 15 a night. Okay. Because in addition to that 10 or 15 a night that they're submitting, I've also got the other 10 to 30 from everyone else. So, as it is, I'm at the computer 1 to 2 hours a night, doing reviewing duties. And so, I need to give equal share to everybody. Mm-hmm. So, and usually people that are putting out these power trails are usually, seasoned cachers, which there's sometimes not too many issues with them. But if you're going to drop 50 on me and I want them to be done by tomorrow, probably not.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's always a couple of them that I'm just like, I am not comfortable with this location. You've got a conflict with the hidden stage. There's always something that comes up.
Right.
So if you're going to drop 50 or 100, you need to be planning this out a month ahead of time, because that's about how long it's going to take to work through that process.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just me. I can't speak for, Iowa. I can't speak for Indiana. That's just what, if there's the Illinois cachers that are listening, that's how you keep Reviewer Smith happy. Keep me in, keep the communication open.
He doesn't keep us happy, guys. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's as much love mail as there is hate mail. So
I never send you hate mail. I'll just correspond to my brother, to my wife about you. I don't send you. I just say he's never going to let this go through. Yeah. Sure enough, you never surprise me. You're like, nope.
Yep.
Nope.
But that's the thing, though. If I deny a cache, I'll list out the guidelines that's infracted, especially for a challenge cache.
Mm-hmm.
So, or I'll say, you know what? I'm going to ask for a peer review, and I'll let you guys know that. Mm-hmm. So.
We have a question from a listener here in the chat room. A follow up on the challenge cache thing.
Sure.
So if you publish a cache near where a mega occurs annually, can you use regular mega attendees to count to the 10 qualifying cachers? Interesting.
No, because they're not local. They got to be local.
Oh, so the rule is local is the rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. That's a good question, though. That's a good conundrum right there.
So, well, great question. Yeah.
Yeah. So local is the rule. Interesting. Because you get something like Bash, Midwest GeoBash. I mean,
sure.
Same people go every year,
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. That's good. That's a good question. Okay. Chad, do you have any questions for him, by the way? Or am I going to just keep going down mine?
Keep going down the list.
Okay. All right. So first of all, I'm curious. You don't have to say your cache name. I totally respect you if you don't want to.
Sure.
But how many finds do you have? Just out of curiosity.
Well, again, most people, I've been caching. Matter of fact, I just celebrated my 21st anniversary as a geocaching player.
Wow.
And I'm out in the open 21 years. Woo!
Wow.
And I had a CC event that I'd been holding on to, for like 3 years now.
As did I. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that I finally utilized. But no, my player name is Gossamer.
Okay.
A lot of the listeners that,
I didn't want to say it, so
yeah. Well, no, and being out in the open, it's a lot of people associate me with the review or the reviewer with Gossamer. So
Mhm.
it's 21 years this year. And my player finds, I don't even know. I think I'm 11,500 something. I really don't know.
Mhm.
So yeah, let me pull up my app and see here real quick. But again, there was a lot of years though too that, I used to go out, I used to cash with some local caches. We'd go out every weekend and find 50, 100 caches.
Mhm.
Then, job changes, life changes,
Sure.
things happen. And, and then of course, then becoming a reviewer, your cash fines kind of go way down. So, just over 11,000.
Oh, there you go. Well done. That's
So-
respectable. 21 years. That's a long
Yeah.
time. So are you an actual what is it called with the people who where it started?
Charter.
member.
Charter.
No, unfortunately not.
How in 21 years not a charter member? Come on.
Because I didn't pay for pay for geocaching back in the day when I should have, and I think I just missed the cutoff for charter member by like a month or two.
Oh God, that's
Mm.
Yeah,
God.
I know. I'm
All
kicking
those
myself
years
for
and
it.
you're not a charter member.
Right, I know. It happens.
That's awesome.
Uh,
And how long have you been a reviewer for? Since 2017?
no, 2013. So I'm coming up on 10
Oh,
years already.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, since 2013. Wow.
yeah. So I'll have my 10 years here in a couple months. Actually,
You gonna have an event?
I haven't thought that far ahead. I might. That's a good idea to have an event.
Have an event.
So
Who reviews your caches that you put out?
Yeah, right? Good question. Yes.
great question.
I'll do it.
Um,
You deny it.
Well, and you talked about, conflicts in caching. So, we actually have, kind of a code of ethics per se. So, that we have to kind of, abide by. Now then, lost my train of thought. What was the question again, Chaz?
Let's say who reviews the caches that you put out as Gossamer?
Who watches the Watchmen? That's
Yeah. So what we do is I will submit a cache or an event for publication. I'll review it as a reviewer. Hey, this thing
Approved.
checks out. Well, and then I will put it out. I will usually contact one of my fellow reviewers, either in Indiana or Iowa, to say, hey, can you hit the button for me? Or over this last year, we've us reviewers have kind of had a fun game going on where we've been publishing caches in other states. So I think last summer you guys may have or may not have noticed that all sorts of different reviewers were publishing caches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so that was just something that we started up just to kind of break the monotony up. It's like, hey, I need can you get, and I've had reviewers email, hey, I need Illinois. Can you, throw me a bone here? Like, yeah, no problem. Here's what, go ahead and hit it. It's good. I reviewed it. Boom.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, so I'll seek out one of my fellow team members, or I'll put it out there, to our forum group to say, hey, Illinois, here's a cache you can do. And,
Okay.
within minutes, poof, it's gone.
I've
So,
got
but but as a reviewer, we do not publish our own caches.
Can you or you just don't?
No, we can't.
You can't. Okay.
We can't. No.
so I've got a follow up to that. Have you ever been rejected since you've been a reviewer?
You know what it feels like.
Well, no, because I haven't hit any caches since I become a reviewer.
Oh,
I've
really?
only done events.
Ah.
I've only
Okay.
done events. Yeah.
Hmm.
Again, there's only so many hours in the day. I mean, I
Right.
work
Mhm.
full-time job, 50 hours a week. Yeah, there's just not enough time in the day to do everything.
Sure. Understandable. Absolutely. All right, let's get into COVID. We got to
COVID.
talk about the COVID, man. So we talked to you right before
Yes.
the world fell apart. Then the world fell apart.
Yep.
Let's talk about COVID. So talk and obviously only you can tell us what you can tell us, but what was the protocols? How was this addressed? I mean, we never really shut down Illinois. I know other states like
Oh no, Illinois shut down
Did we?
We shut down events, but
Events. Yes, events. But you still
yeah.
publish.
Yeah, let me preface this by saying, and I shared this, on some of the different social media posts that I communicated with during the pandemic, is that I work in healthcare and have been in healthcare almost 40 years. This actually will be my 40th year in healthcare. So I was living the COVID day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a better understanding probably than most of, the executive orders that we were under, the protocols, what was safe, what wasn't safe. So everything that the direction we were given was, it was kind of on a state by state basis per se, because every state was different. And so they left it up to us to
Really?
make those decisions based upon what our state was doing.
Right.
For example, as we all know, our state got locked down pretty heavily where, we couldn't have events for a year,
Yeah. Close to
a
it.
while.
Yeah.
Because with events, you cannot restrict the number of attendees. Because a lot of times we had restrictions, even on outdoor events or indoor events, up to 20 people. Well, you cannot restrict event attendance. So, that was one of the factors that, I'm just not going to publish any events until these restrictions get lifted to, say, 50 people. Then we can have regular events. But like CCC events, you just
Right.
can't, you just cannot deny those numbers. So, our state was a little bit weird in that way aspect of it, but there was other states that were even more restrictive of us. Canada was a lot more restrictive than us on some things, as far as publishing. I will say that was one thing that did keep going, was the actual publication of caches. That, that actually increased.
Really?
I talked about
Wow.
I talked about my yearly average being around 2,500.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first year of COVID, I did 3,200.
Wow.
Really?
So there was an
I
increase.
don't remember that many
5
new
to 700.
caches going on.
Oh yeah. Well, and what was sad too is that for some of the players that stuck with it, great. We got some great new cachers out there, but others, it was just a quick way to pass the time to get outside,
Right.
and then I'm archiving those same caches 6 months later.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Which was kind of
COVID
sad.
cache. Yeah, the COVID cachers who just were
Yeah,
working
COVID
out.
caches. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Oh, absolutely. And they would put out a cache finding 3 finds and put out 10 caches and yeah.
Yeah.
And yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, see, and that's one of the other things too, because I get emails every now and then, or when I talk to people every now and then, it's like, well, how come you publish this, blah blah blah. It's like, well, here's my role as a reviewer, is to publish caches that meet the guidelines. Whether a player has 1 find or they have 5,000, 50,000 finds, if that cache that they submit meets the guidelines, I publish it. Now, if it turns out to be a great crash, great. But if it turns out to be something that's not so great, or whatever, then that's where the caching community, through their logging, through their needs maintenance or needs archive logs, that's how the check and balance is put in place.
Mm-hmm. And so, what did actually Groundspeak or headquarters tell you? Did they leave it to you? Did they say, "Hey, you know what? It's up to your local laws and how your locals are handling it"?
Exactly. Like I said, they gave us, manage your state how you see based upon what your executive order restrictions are.
Interesting.
So,
Right.
yeah.
But didn't some states not publish caches? Like, didn't publish at all?
I believe some of them did. I don't have data on that, or I don't recall who.
The
was
chat room
publishing or
will
what.
let us know pretty quick in about 10
Yeah.
seconds.
So I remember that there were some states that weren't publishing
at all.
any caches at all for a while.
Yeah, and I don't recall, I don't recall who they were or what they were, because now that you've said that, I do remember making a comment on social media at one point.
Washington.
Okay, Washington, that we're still publishing caches. Some places aren't publishing caches, so at least we still have that for us. Granted, we can't have events, but we can still publish caches. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was so happy because I was hearing about that. I'm like, I certainly hope they don't shut that down.
No, me too.
Yeah,
Me too. I was like, holy crap, what am I going to do? And some people, some reviewers, I think in some states didn't publish caches for a couple of months per se,
Mhm.
and then they just stacked and packed them, until they could until they were given the blessing to publish by whatever executive order they were under. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Nothing was allowed in Hawaii either. Nothing was allowed.
wow, okay, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a weird 3 years, let me tell you.
I would say, so you had a nice little break, but no, you were actually busy.
Oh no, I was busier. Yeah,
That's crazy. And especially being in healthcare and dealing with COVID, you gotta come home and
Right.
deal with this. You're like, this is nothing. Ugh.
well, it gave me knowledge that I could pass on to the geocaching community, that here is why we're having to do this, or here is why I'm taking these actions, and I try to be upfront and clear about it. And I think the fact that and again, and I put out there that I work in healthcare, I'm living this on a daily basis,
Right.
so it wasn't, and we're still dealing with a lot of the
Sure. Yeah.
after effects in healthcare with COVID, with supply chain issues.
Mm.
It's still,
Right.
things are
Mhm.
not to where they need to be.
Mhm.
So Jess, you gonna say something?
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, having you as our local reviewer here, and your openness and letting us know the status and everything. Like, how many times did you go out and say, okay, here's where we're at, here's what I'm allowing, here's what I'm not allowing, every time, like, as we were moving through the phases in 2020, and that communication as a cashier was really appreciated. So I just wanted to say, thank you for being open and communicating what was and wasn't allowed, because there was so much unknown at the time.
Oh, sure. Well, and I appreciate that, because, and that was the same thing that we had to do, with our staff, within
Mhm.
healthcare,
Yep.
well, how does this modification change how we do business?
Right.
So
Crazy. Yeah.
yeah,
It's a crazy time. Getting back to questions, more questions from the chat.
yeah, you bet.
Somebody wants to know what generation you are on the family tree. I don't know what that means. Maybe.
Which, like the reviewing tree,
I don't. I'm just saying what they said. I don't know.
or or am I, am I a I'm a Gen X, or not a Gen Xer?
I don't think that what he. I don't think.
Yeah.
That's what he means. I think he means the.
Are
reviewing tree.
you
Uh,
a
you know, it's
boomer?
just,
Are
you
you
know,
an Xer?
No, I'm in my, I'm an Xer. I'm in my 50s.
Yeah,
I
fair enough.
just missed the boomer age, so it
Oh,
should give
you're
you an
upper.
indication.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Matter of fact, I've got another turn of the calendar here coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, God bless.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Happy
well,
birthday.
thank you. Doesn't get me any new senior discounts yet, but it's another year.
He says yes. What the reviewer tree? What generation are you in the reviewer tree? I don't know what that means. But
For
I don't know what that means.
I think I understand it. For Illinois, the first reviewer we had was Illinois admin,
Yes.
and then we had reviewer Jones for downstate, because then he
Yeah.
started separating them.
Yes.
So I guess I'm third generation downstate,
Yeah.
or third generation.
Well, we had Abe and Ed too.
Yeah,
but those
well-
the same people. I don't know. Is that the same guy?
Well, they are, but you got to remember that Chicago was separated. Chicago was its own entity. Everything above I-80 was the Chicago reviewers. Everything south of I-80
Oh, really?
was like reviewer Jones.
Yeah, I remember. I remember reviewer Jones from when I would go down south.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yep.
that's- but he never. The only time he did review my stuff is when Abe was out or on vacation or
Sure.
whatever. That's. I think he would kick in, or somebody, or maybe the Wisconsin guy would kick in. I don't remember who would do it, but some
Right.
Interesting. So yeah, so I guess 3, Ian, is the right? On the reviewer tree would be 3.
Well, for Central Illinois, but
Illinois.
for Chicagoland area,
Oh, for Chicago.
oh God, what am I on? Probably 5th or 6th generation.
Yeah.
So
Because I remember Illinois admin, Illinois reviewer, right?
We had Illinois reviewer Ed Rooney,
Yep.
Abe Froman,
right.
and
Yep.
reviewer Jones, since
Mhm.
I've cashed,
And then
Sure.
and then obviously reviewer Smith.
Reviewer Smith. Yes.
mhm.
Okay. There you go, Ian. Hope that helped. Next one, coming from KC11, who is a local.
Oh yeah, I know Casey.
Are there any places that have blanket permission to hide caches, such as sidewalks, parks, parking lots, or anywhere else?
repeat that one question again.
Sure. Are there any places that have air quote blanket permission to hide caches, such as sidewalks, parks, parking lots?
This has become a real hot topic over the last several years, mainly because I think of the COVID pandemic. You have to remember that, especially in cities, municipalities, that the area between the sidewalk and the street is considered a right of way. All right. It is still owned by that homeowner. All right. So it's private property. Technically, it's private property. The easement that is there is for utility work, not geocaches. So that is where a lot of the complaints and a lot of some of the emails I get from HQ is in relation to those caches that are hidden in those quote right of ways. So I've really started to tighten the screws on those just because of what has been going on in the last couple of years. So as far as blanket stuff, I'll use Central Illinois. I'll use us as an example. My local park districts, I live in Bloomington Normal. They really don't care about geocaching per se. I mean, so it's kind of a blanket. You go place a cache in a Bloomington park, don't have to seek permission. You go a half hour away from us in, like, say, Peoria or Pekin Park District. Yeah, they require permission, permit type system, whatever.
Sure.
So a lot of it, I think, depends on the area. And again, I'll give credit to my predecessors. They zoned off different areas of Chicagoland area that cities have enacted. They need a permit. Cache is not allowed.
Really?
Yeah.
In the city?
Yeah.
City proper?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So,
interesting. Is it downtown? Is it like the Loop area? Can you say?
not necessarily the Loop area, but just, and I'm using Chicagoland as like the entire Chicagoland area. So, for example, I had a couple tonight that got submitted that were in part of I believe it was Kane County Forest Preserve.
Yeah.
Those we know.
Oh, I
Yeah,
used to live there
those,
for 4 years. I know. Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
to have a
so-
permit there.
Oh yeah. Well, and a couple of Kane counties don't even allow geocaching at all because they're not on that list.
Yeah.
And the caches that were submitted tonight, they weren't on that list. So sorry. And
Sorry.
it throws a huge flag. Bells go off. Smoke comes out of the computer. All that good stuff. So.
Yeah, I know Kane County well. Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Now then, like larger parking lots, up in Chicagoland area, yeah, I'm a little bit looser on those than I would be, say downstate and everything. So, but I don't know if I would consider it a blanket, approval. I look at each cache individually and, determine, is this going to be a problem or could it be a problem?
Okay.
So,
Fair answer. Okay. Question from the chat room: for a cacher that has never published a geocache before, do you get confirmation from that cacher that the cache is in place before publishing the cache?
if you if they read the guidelines, the cache is supposed to be in place
Of course,
at time
yeah.
of
I know.
submittal.
Yeah.
Now I will make an exception to that if you're doing like a coordinate check, and a lot of the season cachers, that's what they'll do.
Sure.
They'll have a big, coordinate check.
Do not publish.
Yeah, do not publish, right? But yeah, so, and I can usually tell sometimes by the wording in the reviewer note whether or not that cache is placed, and and I've had a cache within the last few years that I kind of, through the geocaching community and just through monitoring the account, got to realize that if they're publishing something, it's probably not in place yet. So then I take extra steps to ensure that that cache is in place once I become aware that there's an issue. So, but again, a lot of the if I have to I rely on the geocaching community to let me know that there's problems, with a cache or with a cacher.
And they will.
They will, and which is great because then when that cacher comes up or something happens, then that's, it kind of goes on my attention log. Okay, I need to take, extra precautions with this one because of what's happened the last 3 or 4 times. So,
Mhm.
yep.
Do you even like go for puzzle caches anymore, or do you strictly do trads now, traditionals?
No, I don't do puzzle caches. my brain, like I said before, my brain don't think like puzzles.
But you don't you got the chords.
I know. Well, for about 20 seconds I do, and then they're gone.
Yeah, but you can't go look at them again. You don't have
Again,
access to all those.
Code of ethics.
Oh. Just go into the
Yeah.
preserve. There's like 3 puzzle caches. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, fine.
Nope. No,
Really?
unless I qualify or unless I can figure it out on my own, I just
Really?
I don't even touch them.
Good
You're
guy.
a better man than I. Better
Yeah.
man. Better man. Okay, without giving, I'm gonna throw some questions at you.
Sure.
Without giving any names or places or anything, I know it might be hard. Worst thing that's happened to you as a reviewer?
I don't know if I really could answer that question because I don't think I've had anything really.
Never bad? Anything?
There's been some conflicts, sure, but it's nothing that we haven't worked out. Either by meeting that person in person or on a very rare occasion have
Like a
I
fight?
actually no. If I talk to them on the phone and say, look, here's the reality of what you're, of what we're dealing with here. No, I can honestly say I really, and that's a credit to you guys. Plus 2, I think that, and we referenced this, 3 years ago, is that, again, I've been caching 21 years. A lot of folks know me.
Mhm.
And so I think that made the transition to reviewer a lot easier for, a lot of folks. Now that new people come into the game, yeah, they have no idea who I am or what my
Right,
history is.
Right.
And I've gotten, a couple emails. Of course, I haven't got one for a long time. But like, well, how can you know what you're doing? You've only got, 20 fines on your reviewer account. Okay, let me give you a little education here.
Will you kid?
And I'll usually reference, something in the help article that, here you need to read about what reviewers, who we really are.
Okay, so
Ugh.
how often? I never fight back. You tell me no, I say God bless. Okay, and I just set you under my breath. How often do people fight back?
I wouldn't use the term fight back. I would use the term
Plead their
what would I
case.
use here?
Plead their case?
Plead their case. There are a lot of people that do plead their case, and then if they've got a valid argument, I'll be more than happy to take it to my peers, or
I can fight
I'll,
back.
I'll kick it up to HQ. Yeah, if you feel though your argument's valid. But if I'm referencing a specific guideline on why you're, challenged or why your cache isn't publishable, then you might want to think twice about it.
Yeah, give it up, Scott.
I had a string of caches. He just denied me. Like I think I took it personally after a while. It's just no.
Oh, Scott, deny.
Yeah, that immediately goes to the trash can. There's a script for Scott specifically.
Okay, so that's great that people that you don't really have issues. That's fine. I mean, it's a pretty good community.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Because, like I said, we do make mistakes. I've said this before. We do make mistakes. I gave the example earlier where I was reading way too much into the challenge guidelines, to deny a challenge. When my peer said, hey, this is a good challenge. Okay, thanks a lot. That's why I brought it to you guys. No, not at all. I mean, if you bring a valid argument or valid, case to me to say, this is why I think, this is, and I've gone back and forth numerous times with other cachers. Then like, well, what about this idea? And back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, it's it's all in fun and games. I mean, bottom of end of the day, it's just business. I don't take it personally.
Right. Sure.
Because it's business. This is the job that HQ has entrusted me to do. Nothing more, nothing less.
Another question for you. How often does Reviewer Smith get contacted about cache hides that are causing problems? And who usually contacts you? Is it HQ? Is it the police? Who is it?
Well, you never want to get that email from HQ saying, we archived a cache. You may want to look at, whatever. I'm like, all right, whatever. And usually I'll go in and look and it's like, why did they archive it? Well, maybe it was a something that had property owner had changed over the years, or it could be any number of reasons, but it's just, I don't know.
Good answer.
Yeah. So
now let's talk about like what happens, and I'm going to bring a name up for the past, and I apologize, but I know he doesn't cash anymore. What happens when like a Ziggy comes out? Ziggy comes here and he throws 10 at you. Do you remember Ziggy?
I know about the Ziggy caches.
Yeah, like what's coming out. And for the record, guys, for anybody else who's not local, Ziggy hides were horrible. Okay, now Ziggy comes out, he throws you 15 caches. They're all going to stink. And I'm being very kind with my wording here. And you just got to let it go. Did you do you have a conversation with them? Be like, dude, are these cords good? Because usually your cords suck. Like, are these cords good? Have you checked these cords? Like, do you kid glove these people, or you just push it through because that's your job?
Well, again, I take each individual cache separately. So I will look at each individual cache. I will look at the cords. I will look at my mapping software. And if it looks legit, then yeah, I'll publish it. Again, as I stated before, if the cache meets the guidelines, we publish it.
You got to publish it, knowing that he has bad cords and
well, and again, I don't know that they're bad cords because it may look okay on the map.
Yeah,
of
course.
And it happens to even the best cachers where they'll publish a cache, and then 2 days later, I'm seeing that cords are updated. Whoops, sorry, missed it. It happens to you guys,
right?
So
yeah,
time of day can affect coordinates. What you're using can affect coordinates.
Transposing digits.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, it's like you may want to check your coordinates because it's in Lake Michigan right now. So
you just got to push it. You just got to push it, even knowing the hider and knowing issues.
And again, that's where it comes into the geocaching community, where if the cords are bad, then people need to be reaching out, just saying, hey, something's not right here, whatever. Then I'll go in and I'll disable it. Hey, you need to check this or whatever. So, and again, a lot of what I do as follow up or how I address issues, it comes from the geocaching community, because once I hit that publish button, boom, I'm moving on to the next 30 down the road.
Right.
And so unless someone contacts me about that cache, I have no clue is it good? Is it bad? I mean, from what I see on my mapping software and what the write-up is and everything else, it looks good.
Now, when someone updates their coordinates, do you automatically go back and review and check?
Yes.
That okay.
Yes. Yeah.
What if you had disapproved a cache? They go ahead and put one out, and they moved it the 30 feet that they needed to get it not conflicting, and then they moved it back.
Yeah, that will.
I've never done that, RS.
Yeah,
never done that.
A lot of times those will get archived.
Okay.
Yeah,
if they get
and especially because and it's rare that I have to go back and archive a cache after publication. I mean, within a few short, distance times. I know that, I had an incident, and we'll call it an incident, this past spring during MOGA, where there was a conflict with a cache that required immediate archival.
I do remember that one.
Yeah, due to some issues that, and again, I'm not going to go into the reasons why, but when you are not upfront with the reviewer, it tends to not end well.
Okay. One more question, and then I want to talk about Seattle. I know we're late on time here, but this question I want to get to. You have a cache, okay? You have like you have a really old cache, or you have a virtual cache, or you have a webcam cache, or something, okay? And it's down, and people are working on it, and then someone throws a needs archive on it or needs maintenance on it, and then you got to flag it, and you have to it has to be flagged. But like, do you just shake your head and go, why did that newbie put a flag on it? You know, I mean, are you like one of the things like, I'm just gonna not look that way, knowing it's down, but knowing it's a webcam, knowing it's old, knowing they're trying to repair it, I'm not gonna look in that direction. But then when a newbie throws up needs maintenance on it and forces you to look in that direction, you know, what's your feelings on that? Just and I'm bringing that up because in I think it was 2013 or 2014, we went to remember we went to Geo Woodstock in St. Louis, and an old webcam got archived right before it because a newbie threw a new need maintenance on it, and the reviewer was like, I have to archive this. You know, I have no choice. My hands are tied.
Yeah, St. Charles Woodstock. Yeah, I think I remember that because actually that's where I came out of the closet, was in St. Charles Woodstock.
Was it really?
Yeah. When it comes to what I'll call legacy type caches, stuff that's earlier than 2002.
I'm throwing a curveball at you.
Yeah, you are, because only because I've got a couple that are out there now that I've been kind of
looking the other way.
Looking the other, you know, in a way, yes, you know, not really looking the other way, but just, you know, delaying in and that, you know, that may happen because, you know, I have been contacted by some people to say, oh, I want to go take care of this, blah, blah, blah. I hate to see it happen. And I've had some discussions with HQ in regards to this. And, you know, I'm not really at liberty to discuss those at this time, but, you know, because, you know, my point is that there's been I shouldn't say higher frequency, but there's been some of these legacy caches, you know, they're not being maintained, and eventually once they're gone, they're gone.
I know,
you know, which is a shame. And for someone like me, 21 years, I have probably found that cache, you know, way a long time ago. So, yeah, it's a tough call. It really is. You know, I'm not the only one that struggles with it. So, because you got to remember, deep down, we're cachers too.
Yeah, I know that, but like you got something like Beverly that could, you know, I know the Beverly cacher doesn't cache anymore. The hider, just, like that goes away. I mean, community maintenance usually tweaks it pretty quick, you know.
Right.
Like if somebody, if community maintenance didn't, or if a newbie got it before community maintenance did and threw and needs maintenance on that, you know, I mean, what do you do? You know, like,
you know, kind of, I would probably reach out to, you know, I would try to contact a local caching group, but again, and HQ has some, for those early caches, like those, you know, early caches, you know, they do have some processes in place to help maintain that integrity, you know, or that listing.
Right. Okay.
So,
all right, I'll let you off the hook. All right, let's talk Seattle. I'll let you off the hook.
Yeah, Seattle.
Let's talk Seattle. So I ran into you. Me and Jesse ran into you.
Who was talking who? I'm telling you.
Everywhere we went, you were there. So how was Seattle? Did you have a good time?
You know, probably one of my best caching trips I've taken. Definitely, you know, top 3, top 2, whatever. We drove out.
Oh, you're kidding?
No, not at all. We drove out. I went with the Iowa reviewer, who I've known for many, many years. And so we drove out and focused on picking up states that we didn't have. And then we focused on anything. I ran a query that basically focused on stuff prior to 2002. So if it was published after 2002, it wasn't on my query. Now then, it's not to say that if we pulled into a rest stop, hey, is there a cache here? Oh, yeah, we're looking.
Yeah.
But, you know, we ended up picking up oldest caches in North Dakota, Montana, Oregon. You know, we ended up, it was just a blast. I've seen a lot of great scenery, seen places I hadn't seen before. Of course, for me, I hadn't been to HQ before, so that was a treat. I got my second ape cache as a player.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So I know some of the older Chicago guys were able to get their second ape as well. Yeah, people are, oh, you've been to Brazil? No, not yet, but I've been around long enough.
Yeah,
I was able to grab the Chicago.
I just missed Chicago's. I missed it.
Oh my God.
Less than a year, I think.
Yeah.
Just missed it. Yeah.
And then, you know, HQ had some special stuff for us reviewers, which was really great. You know, they really went all out for us, as they did for the rest of the geocaching community.
Oh, absolutely.
But so we, did the ape hike. Ran into you guys down in Oregon, of all places. Going
Mhm.
after the whole
Oldies, go in the oldies. Yeah.
Yeah,
watch
oldies.
the oldies. Yeah.
And I wish we had more time to go after that second one too, but we just simply did not have the time.
Yeah, we got it. Do we get it? We
Yeah.
got it. didn't we?
Yeah, we went up. We hiked Mount Margaret.
Okay.
Yep.
So, I mean, I hope to go back. But
It was
Seattle,
beautiful.
yeah. But it was interesting is that there was about 80 reviewers there from all over the world.
Wow.
And it didn't matter where we reviewed. We all experienced the same challenges,
Mhm.
which,
Right.
it is just, it's just the nature of the beast. And so, yeah, I mean, I met, reviewers from the UK and, oh gosh, I can't even remember all the different, places that, the reviewers were from, but, we just had a blast. So how about you guys? Did you guys enjoy Seattle?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, like, I met so many people. It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I've never hiked those. I'm a flatlander. Born and raised in Illinois. I mean, those mountains kick my ass for my land.
GCD was an
Yeah.
ass kicker.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jesus. Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
done anything like that before.
Yeah.
Um,
But I'd like to go back. But we got a nice tour of HQ, and got to see some of the inner workings of
Mhm.
of behind the scenes work and so forth. So that was really good. And of course, was able to get the trifecta. I was able to get the Ape,
Yep.
HQ, and the
That's it.
original
Yeah.
stash.
Sure. Yep,
So
so did
probably
we.
like a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I loved Seattle. Seattle was an amazing, amazing city. Loved
Yeah.
Seattle. Like, yeah, Portland. We were in Oregon, but Portland we drove through at night, so I didn't really get to enjoy Portland as much as I wanted to.
Sure.
But no,
We
it's,
stopped and did the webcam there.
yeah,
Yep.
yes, we did, yes.
Was
So
it at that little bar outside the bar?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we grabbed that one.
Yeah.
So, and
I
that's
do-
the thing. I wish I had another week of time because
Mhm.
there's just so much to do out there. I
yeah,
just couldn't get to it all. Oh my God.
I've been there 3 times now, or four times now, and I still haven't done everything.
Sure.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a great. It was a really expensive trip, but it's a really good trip. Yeah.
Yeah,
put a
we
little
actually,
on. So,
actually, for as far as, of course, I again went with, the Iowa guy. For us, I mean, it was, I shouldn't say wasn't expensive, but I mean, it was manageable as far as costs because we
Mhm.
split the cost. We split of course, I've got a hybrid, so, 40 plus miles to the gallon,
right.
going out and back. That
Sure.
helped. And then, we split all of our hotel costs and this and that. And,
Mhm.
we got a fairly decent rate at the hotel, the prefer HQ hotel, which was kind of nice. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah. Now, could I go out there and do it for the same cost this year? Probably not.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
but who knows?
So anything in the pipeline you can share with us that you learned there that's coming in or coming out? Or
And again, that'll be a question that I'll say, I'm sorry. So,
but is stuff coming out? How about that? Is some can I say is any cool stuff coming out that you're excited for, or looking forward to, or
again, I'll just say, sorry.
Sure.
I know, sorry to burst your bubble.
No, hey man, hey, you can, it's your job that you're
Mhm.
risking. So, okay, I think that's all. What we had one more in the chat room. Sorry, I had
Sure.
one more question in the chat. I gotta find
You-
it. I think I started. Did I start? I don't think I started. Hold on, where was it? It was from. There it is. Wait, nope. Hold on. I'm so sorry.
And did we get through all of your
I got it.
questions
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
show
yeah.
notes?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think we did. So one more question is, if we're okay, this is an interesting question, but if the reviewer personally knows a cashier who has passed away, can he adopt out the caches from that person?
Mm.
Unfortunately, no. Adoption is still an
Right.
HQ only function. So, and I know that we've had some well-known Chicagoland cashiers, unfortunately, pass away in the last couple of years. So,
Yeah, recently. Yeah.
yeah. And so, and I've had people ask me about it, and I say, well, right now, I've talked to HQ about it as well, and I just said, as they come up for needing maintenance or needing our archive or whatever, then I'll deal with them. But until that time, I'm just going to let them ride. They seemed okay with that. So,
Okay. That's yeah. You don't really think about that. So that's strictly HQ. That's only them. You can't.
Yep.
Interesting. Wait, is it
And
HQ giving you permission, or is it HQ doing it?
No, they're leaving it up to me to manage those caches from that, cache owner that's no
Mhm.
longer with us.
Okay. Okay.
right. And as far as I know, with HQ, they will not. They made one, I believe, one exception, which was the Brazilian 8 cache, as far as adopting it out after the owner had passed away.
Right, and that's part of some of those legacy caches where they do have some of those protocols that they will, kind of try to keep that alive, so to speak.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay. Wait, one more here.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy publishing the new virtual caches?
Oh, sure. I enjoy publishing all caches. I mean, that's my job. But the new virtual caches, some of them that I've published recently, are like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to go visit that.
Yeah,
So,
mine's a good one.
But by the same token, when we took our trips, or like when I go cache into a different area, that's what I look for. I look for favorite points. I look for old stuff. I look for virtuals. I look for webcams. That's
Hey,
what I look for.
It's not like my wife. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
she does. Yeah, same query. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right.
So,
Thanks so much, buddy. You're
yeah.
awesome.
What else you got? Anything?
That's all I got, man. I got show's over. I'm late.
Ah, okay.
I'm running late.
We don't have that special group we got to go talk to yet.
No, it's always a pleasure to have you, buddy. It's
Yeah.
always a pleasure to have you on the show. Stick around, okay? Stay. I'm
Sure.
gonna close the show and we'll
Sure.
talk. So you stick around, okay?
You bet. Oh,
Thank
I'd like
you.
to thank everyone who submitted questions tonight. Again, if you guys do have questions, my contact information's out there.
Yes, it is. All right, buddy. You hold on.
All right.
Hold on
Thank you.
once. Don't go anywhere. Stay there.
All right.
Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Next week is February. How is it already February, dude?
Unbelievable.
February. It's here. Boom.
February.
Boom. Just like that. Snap. It's February. You know what that means?
It's time for some cash or coffee.
There's so much to talk about. So much. So much is happening right now in the geocaching community. Did you play the game, Chad?
The Wordle? What are you talking about?
He does. Guys, Chad doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
I played the game.
I played the game
I sent the game to Scott.
and I played it, and then I sent the course to Jesse.
I saw in the Pod Blast that you had a Wordle thing.
No,
and
yeah,
I
we got
played,
Wordle going.
and I played that.
We do have how many attempts did it take you?
It took me too many. I think I was on like 6 attempts.
That's
Yeah,
your,
guys.
That's your max out.
For anybody who doesn't follow, who's not part of the GC Pod Blast, this year we introduced a GCPC Wordle. So the word has to do with this podcast. What was the word this week?
I'm
Or-
not telling.
Oh, okay.
People maybe haven't done it yet.
Okay, fair enough. Yes. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. It's a GCPC. I sat and Chad, I burned through 52 of them. Okay. I did it. Jesse, how fast did I burn through 52?
Oh gosh, he gave me the list. Well, I have
Boom.
a whole year's worth
Boom.
of words
20
in
minutes.
like 20
Boom.
minutes.
20 burned out a year's worth of words in 20 minutes. 6-letter words. Yeah. I don't know how I did it. It was like my mind was free flowing and I was just
Mhm.
weird.
There is a duplicate though. I need
Oh,
do need
is it
one
really?
more.
I did a
Yeah.
duplicate. Wow.
Yeah, there's one. No, I'm just teasing you.
One is pretty good.
I know. I'm just
So-
teasing.
I-
But no,
I-
so this game,
I do a Wordle every day, so and I'm usually pretty good at it. But for some
Not this
reason,
one?
I was screwing up on that one.
Yeah. So guys,
But
if you're
anyway,
not
what
doing the GC
game are you talking about?
Hold on. So if you're not doing the GC Pod Blast, you go to our site, geocachingpodcast.com. You go to GC Pod Blast. You sign up for our weekly. Jesse does a weekly email of what's coming up, what happened last week, what's coming next week, and all the good stuff. She's got promotional stuff in there. She's got, guys, you're missing it. GC Pod Blast. Come on, man. Sign up for it. Go to our site. It's on our site, geocachingpodcast.com. Why don't you put the link in the show notes, or Jess, if you can.
all right.
Chad, the
Mhm.
GC, we're gonna talk about it next week, Chad. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
You got an email. Read your emails, dude. Jesus.
from geocaching or
Yeah, read your emails, dude. Are you premium?
No, it wasn't in that.
It wasn't in an email?
No,
I think
it's
it was
just on the
Dave's
site.
email. Wasn't it in yesterday's
I
email?
don't think so.
I think it was.
I didn't see it. That's not where I saw it, and I read the emails.
Yeah, but it was in yesterday's email.
Their emails always go to spam for me for some reason.
They have this extra game that you play that you could win a T-shirt.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're T-shirts right now. I looked today; they're not that good. Sometimes that being said, sometimes they have awesome. I own many
Heresy.
T-shirts.
Well, you don't know which one they're actually giving away.
Touche. You're right. Yes. Okay.
Probably all the leftover HQ shirts. No, I'm just kidding.
Let me
We have
guess.
like
I was
5,000
their
shirts.
shirt. I was their shirt. Was it one of those?
No, they won't let us have those.
Jesus Christ. No, you got to pay $3,000 to go back there to get that T-shirt.
Wait, Glenn says there was an email. Okay, I missed that one.
Yeah,
then.
it was yesterday, Tuesday. The Tuesday email was in there. Yeah, I'm not bitter about that, by the way. Just so you know. at all. Just look at Chad. Chad is so focused right now going through his emails because he has no idea what we're talking about.
I think it got filtered. I mean, their stuff gets filtered for me all the time.
It's like some game, Chad, where you got to click on things and get a hint about a secret hiding place, and then you click on a map until you find it.
Okay,
We'll talk.
to find the email.
So next week, guys, is Casher Coffee. February Casher Coffee, guys. Next week should be a good show. I got to get the phones fixed. I'm gonna work on that later. I'm gonna work on this weekend. I'll get the phones fixed. It'll be no problem. They'll be working again. So, guys, thank you. Chad, awesome. Revere Smith, you're awesome, dude. Hang on. Chad, Jesse, thank you so much. Chat room, as always. I know the phone lines weren't working, but you guys were awesome. I appreciate it so much. So, let's close this show while Chad just looks through his email. I know he's not even paying attention. You can talk to him. Please join us every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central as we stream live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on our website, geocachingpodcast.com. The archive video versions of our podcasts are available on your website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available on your favorite podcatcher. If you like the show, please head over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, make sure you click the subscribe or get notified button to know exactly when we go live. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of our show. With tiers starting as low as $5, you get a ton of additional information, extra video, extra audio, only available to our patron members. Please head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/The Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cashly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, the Max Odds Body Company, Practical Geocaching, Arted Crafted, Patdex.com, Geocaching Adventures LLC, and GeoGo. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, so we'll see you next week talking geocaching, taking your phone calls, hopefully. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones, and we'll talk to you guys next week. And we're clear. There you go. Did you find it, Chad?
No, the last email I got from geocaching.com was 5 days ago for my notification that my renewal went through.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
No, I got one yesterday, and for the record, it doesn't say anything about the new game.
Swear I got an email about it. Okay.
Yeah, from me. I sent you an email.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you guys next week. Be well and be safe. Bye.